I pushed it. All right. So now we're live. So as I was saying, to wrap up the year, we're going to be doing a little bit of poetry. So today I wanted to start with reading you a poem, and then we're going to talk about it together. Answer some questions. You guys will have an assignment over this specific poem, and it's not. It doesn't really have a title, so I like to call it "When She Fell." So, when she fell. When she fell apart, cracked her bones on the pavement she once decorated as a child with sidewalk chalk. When she crashed, her clothes disintegrated and blew away with the winds that took all of her fair weather friends. When she looked around, her skin was spattered with ink, forming the words of 1,000 voices. Echoes she heard, even in her sleep. Whatever you say, it is not right. Whatever you do, it is not enough. Your kindness is fake. Your pain is manipulative. When she lay there on the ground, she dreamed of time machines and revenge and a love that was really something, not just the idea of something. When she finally rose, she rose slowly, avoiding old haunts and sidestepping shiny pennies, wary of phone calls and promises, charmers, dandies, and get-love-quick schemes. When she stood with a desolate knowingness, waded out into the dark, wild ocean up to her neck, bathed in her brokenness. She said a prayer of gratitude for each chink in the armor she never knew she needed. Standing broad-shouldered next to her was a love that was really something, not just the idea of something. When she turned to go home, she heard the echoes of new words. May your heart remain breakable, but never by the same hand twice. And even louder, without your past, you could never have arrived so wondrously and brutally, by design or some violent, exquisite happenstance, here. And in the death of her reputation, she felt truly alive. What did you guys think of that? Be careful, I don't want to shake the camera. Very good. You liked it? It was okay? So, who's the speaker?
You.
I was the speaker, but in the poem, if you were just reading it to yourself, who would the speaker be?
The girl.
A girl? Okay. How do you know it was a girl?
Because
you keep saying she.
Yeah, we know it was a she. So the pronouns. What else? What does the writing or the poem say about the speaker? What can we collect about her, even though we don't know who she is? Who is she? What are some things that we could say about her?
revengeful.
She's vengeful.
Things about time machines.
Things about time machines.
Futuristic.
What else? What can we say about this girl?
There was kindness in it.
She is perceived to be fake and manipulative. What else?
That makes me.
Who is she really? She gives us the portrayal of how people see her, but how, guys, please stop touching that. Thank you. How is she really? So the one thing that I think that you can enjoy about poems, and even songs to a degree, you see or you hear one point of view, right? Your own ears. But what we actually have with poems and with songs, and I know that those are not necessarily interchangeable terms, but a lot of the times you can view songs as poetry. So that's why I'm including songs, just kind of in the lesson. But we only see one facet of a poem or a song. We have our own point of view from it. But what you don't see is that it's actually a prism of point of views. So there's multiple angles of it. Think of a disco ball. How many sides are on a disco ball?
7,000.
A ton. I don't even know the exact number, but there's more than 2, there's more than 4, there's probably hundreds. There's hundreds of sides that we don't see. We see the one side. But yet what makes it beautiful is that it's broken and it's broken over and over again, and we appreciate it for that. That's what makes it a mirror ball, right? A disco ball.
And we can still fix it.
We can still, we can still have a one-of-a-kind view of it. So that's something that we can appreciate about a poem or about a song. So what is the occasion of the poem? What is the time and the place of the poem? What's happening in the poem?
Concrete.
There's concrete. Okay. That she drew with sidewalk chalk.
Possibly be on a sidewalk.
She might possibly be on a sidewalk. What about the figurative meaning?
I'm sorry.
She might
So-
be at school.
She might be at school. Okay. What about in her head? Where is she in her head?
Space.
Time travel.
In her head. Let's not think of concrete ideas. Let's think of things that, ladies, please quit. Let's think of things that maybe are not physical places that you can be. If you're inside your head, where can you be? You can
Imagination.
you can be in your imagination.
Pure
Good.
darkness.
You can be in your own darkness. Where else can you be? What's the opposite of darkness?
Pure light.
You can be in light. Good. So she's somewhere in her head. We don't have a very clear idea of physically where she is. She could be anywhere, but we know the one place she is in her head. How do we know that?
Because she was thinking of a whole bunch of different things.
She was going down her train of thoughts, and we got to experience that with her. Who is the audience for the poem?
Us readers.
Yeah, you are the audience.
Yeah.
You are the audience. Who did the writer have in mind for the audience, do you think? So we have this writer, and we, based on the context of the poem, we are assuming that it is a female, all right? And then we're trying to figure out who she wrote the poem for. Well, she talks about things like revenge and the way that she's perceived by other people versus the fact of who she truly is. She has, it looks like, or it sounds like, some anxiety about the way that people do perceive her. She has anxiety about not finding happiness with someone else. And then what happens in the end? So let's read the end.
Until the end.
We'll read the end again.
I
So-
just completely forgot that.
When she stood with a desolate knowingness, waded out into the dark, wild ocean up to her neck, bathed in her brokenness, said a prayer of gratitude for each chink in the armor she never knew she needed. Standing broad-shouldered next to her was love that was really something, not just the idea of something. When she turned to go home, she heard the echoes of new words. May your heart remain breakable, but never by the same hand twice. And even louder, without your past, you could never arrive so wondrously and brutally by design or some violent, exquisite happenstance here. And in the death of her reputation, she felt truly alive. So in the beginning, she's talking about how she's avoiding people and she's avoiding D&D's Charmers Get Love Quick schemes. She's avoiding her fair-weathered friends, all right? So in the end, things change a little bit. She's essentially had,
Learn from.
yeah, she's had an experience that she's learned from, and she's essentially rebirthing herself from the ocean and going on and taking those lessons that she learned, and she's going forward with her life.
You can't learn from success, but you would have to fail to learn.
Yes, she's learning from her failures. She's learning from the things that have happened to her. She's taking that and she's using it to shape her life into what she, sees as who she actually is. The person that she sees in the mirror, not the person that is displayed, to everyone else that she meets.
Mhm.
So who could the audience be? What is the purpose of this poem? Is there a message that it gives?
To say never give up.
Don't give up.
I don't know.
Maybe that's a good message. Maybe a good message might be that, guys, try to not put your arms on the table. That shakes that.
That feelings.
maybe a good message might be that whatever you are going through, you're probably not alone. And you have to have a belief that it's going to get better. You're going to get through it. So, a few other questions. What's the subject of the poem? Her reputation.
Yeah.
Her reputation is
Couldn't
the
say her, I was
subject.
like,
What is her attitude towards the idea of reputation?
Which part? Because
She has two attitudes,
one of
doesn't
the
she?
parts it's like I don't like this, and the other part is like yes.
And she liked it. So she has different feelings towards it, mixed feelings towards the idea of reputation. And then what do you think her style is? Not like physical style.
oh, okay, I was about to say,
I'm about to say nerd.
Oh.
Not like the style that she
I was about
wears.
to say nerd.
What's the style of her writing? Is it honest? Is it poetic? How is it? Does it rhyme? Do we have a picture whenever we're listening to the words of what is happening?
The part that she cracked her bones on the concrete, yes.
So there's a lot of visuals to stimulate your mind to kind of make you see what's happening and see the world through her own lenses, right?
Mhm.
Good,
Because
good.
everyone has fallen on concrete.
Everyone has fallen on concrete, I'm sure. So that's something that I think off the bat we can all relate to. So she wants to be relevant. She wants to relate to the audience. That's important too. What are the thoughts overall on the poem? You like it? Maybe you don't. Can you turn that off for me?
Fades either. You're alone.
Oh,
Maybe